Hey there, Toledo. Thank you so much for joining me again on today on my 6th episode of Cruising Through the TOL with Shay. I have a very special guest here. I'm so excited. Listen, y'all know this man. This man busy as all get out. But I got him for the next 30 minutes. So I'm so excited to welcome Brian Hayward. I call him the insurance man, okay? You need any kind of insurance, this is who you go to. So thank you so much, cousin. I appreciate you for joining me on my podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I am truly honored.
I love it. I love it. So let's get started. Before we go all into the insurance aspect, I know a lot of people in Toledo know who you are, but there are some people who may not. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm the youngest of 12.
Okay.
Born on City Park, lived on Tecumseh, raised on Calumet. So kind of a melting pot of living in different parts of Toledo.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to my father's passing at the age of 2, my mother's passing at the age of 6, went and lived with some relatives on the East Coast, which was a blessing.
Yeah.
Showed me a different way of life. My uncle was a judge. My aunt was a socialite.
Wow.
We were the only African-American family at the country club.
Wow.
You know, at 7, 8 years old, going on trips to islands and stuff. So I got to see you go from sleeping in the bed with 3 people.
Yes.
To you got your own bedroom with a maid. You know, always joke, I say, I was the Fresh Prince of Delaware. Because that's where we lived. We lived in Wilmington, Delaware. You know, so, I mean, and it was wonderful. And the things that they instilled in me, I still carry those values today.
That's awesome.
You know, from a young child. So, I love my city. I advocate for my city. A lot of the beliefs and things that I connect with as far as the community is due to things that I've gone through, from being a foster kid, from being homeless.
Yeah.
Those are things that's near and dear to my heart. I have 6 siblings still living.
Okay.
All boys. So it was 12 of us, 3 boys and then 3 girls, 9 boys. So there's 6 boys left. You know, and my purpose and goal and mission, as far as insurance is concerned, is to be a blessing to others, to help them.
Yeah.
In this walk, I don't look at it as people as dollar signs per se. I look at them as, how can I help them?
Yeah.
You know, and that's who I am.
Yeah.
You know, as overall, me being a person, you know, a lot of people call me the mayor, right? And I laugh at that because I'm not afraid to talk to people. I go up to people.
He is not.
You know. But it just I guess it comes from me being in foster care.
Yeah.
You know, it was the kids. You know, we only had each other.
Yeah.
You know, I can't really say we could count on the adults. It was like the kids against the adults. So in that, I have brothers and sisters that don't look like me. Mm-hmm. You know, I always say I was in the toaster a little longer. You know, so I think that's one of the things that God has blessed me with.
Yeah.
The ability to connect with other people.
Yeah.
You know, I don't look at culture, creed, race, or anything like that. You know, how can I help you? If you call me, how can I help you?
Yep.
You know, father of 7.
Okay.
You know, 15 grandkids.
Wow.
You know,
so the grandkids doubled the number of kids.
and it's my little chocolate baby. If I can. Kendall Rain, it's her birthday today.
Oh.
2. That's my little chocolate baby,
Happy
a.k.a.
birthday.
Debo.
Happy birthday, Debo.
She gets her way and can do whatever she can, you know. So we'll be celebrating her today. Her mom is throwing her a birthday party today. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
So what do you like to do? I mean, what's some things you like to do
in
your downtime?
As I've gotten older, read.
Okay. Yes.
I like playing chess.
Okay.
You know, might smoke a cigar.
Okay.
You know, and just relax.
Was it stogie?
Yeah, stogie. A good
See,
stick.
I know a little bit.
A good stick. You know, the pressures of the world. It's like you just want to shut your doors and windows and push that noise out and just relax and chill.
That's so
you know.
true.
And I know you understand this, the strains
Yes.
of sales.
Yes.
You know, we're dealing with a lot of different personalities, and
Mm-hmm.
you gotta take that puzzle and put it together to make that transaction to come together, so you can get it to the finish line.
And then
know.
you gotta
So
hold it together.
hold it together, hold it together. Yes. So just
Just to get away.
me, just I have not taken a vacation since 21.
Are you serious?
Yeah, when I opened up my agency, it's just me.
It's just yeah.
So
Ooh.
so any moment that I can steal away and
Yeah.
just relax and chill. I love cooking.
Oh, I was gonna say, don't leave out the chef part now.
I love cooking. So believe it or not, Shalonda, like whatever I may cook, like whatever dish it is, I will play the music. If I'm cooking Mexican food, I will play.
You'll
Mexican
play the music. I like that.
Yes. If I cook something, cook an African dish or Italian cuisine,
Come
I
on.
play that music. I get a full mode character.
I did not know that because
Yes.
I see your post on social media. I'm like, that look good, but that's in your family because Derek's the same way. He'll get in that kitchen and throw down.
I'm still waiting on invite for some ribs or.
Oh, okay. Well, then you know what? I'm gonna holler at him after this podcast because he do the whole thing, the brining and the seasoning and all that stuff y'all do.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
for real. But I love it. Yeah, cooking for him is very relaxing and soothing, and I get it. And there was something that you said that kind of clicked for me. Reading.
Mm-hmm.
Reading. We're in a society today where everybody's scrolling.
Yes.
But nobody's really reading. And I was telling Derek the other day, I said I had to take a step back from social media for a minute because it was
Oh my
starting
God.
to consume, And so I downloaded the Kindle to my phone. And I found some really good books that will help me spiritually as well as help me in my business and develop it more. And now if I feel like scrolling, I read on my phone.
Right.
And it's filling me up and I'm getting ideas and I'm doing things that I would have never thought of had I not pulled away from social media some
Right.
and then started reading.
So I'm not there yet in what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Right? A millionaire.
Yes.
Right? But what I did the first 5 years before I opened up my agency, I YouTubed the habits of millionaires. Right? They get up at 4 o'clock.
Yep.
They exercise.
Yep.
They meditate. They pray.
Yep.
They plan out their day. They, on average, read 27 books a year.
Get out
They
of here.
never stop learning. And they say in order to be successful, and all of them, the majority of them always said, keep God first.
Yep.
And continue to read and be learnable,
Yep.
teachable, and that's what got me. I always loved reading, but that's what got me into reading more. And then I started reading with a purpose.
Yes.
Because we used to, when we was little, what was it, those Zane books?
Yes.
And
Remember those?
them novels that wasn't teaching us nothing, but
we live
anyway,
vicariously through the characters.
But now
Seriously.
I read books that's going to help elevate me and help, not just help me,
Yeah.
but to help my clients.
Yes.
So I love Dan Pena.
Okay.
He's one of my favorites. His words, he's very colorful with his words.
Okay.
But he talks about what you just said. He said in the morning, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
He said you done scrolled for 2 hours
Yep.
and haven't accomplished anything.
Yes.
So he is like, quit scrolling, get busy,
Yep.
set your day,
Yep.
because, and I'm a firm believer, your morning sets the tone for your day.
I'm a firm believer of that.
So I have fallen off. I used to do 10 miles a day, but when I opened up my agency, it took a lot of time for me, and I wasn't able to do that.
Sure.
I've gained weight. My mindset wasn't clear. I'm always stressing, but I'm starting to get back into that groove.
Yeah.
I'm at 2 miles, a day.
Yeah, you got to start over. You can't go just right back to the 10.
Right. So I'm getting back into as Derek Grant would say, at being intentional.
Yes. Yep.
with what I do when I wake up.
Yes.
So I'm back to, walking, back to reading, meditating, back into my word more,
Yeah.
So being more intentional.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we can get so busy,
Yes.
we can forget the foundation that helped us get to where we're at.
Yes.
So now, going through some things, I've turned back to that well.
Yes.
So I can draw from it.
Exactly.
So yeah, reading,
That's good.
I would tell everyone, read.
Read. Get back to it. And if my sister, I love her dearly. She's like, yeah, you do your Kindle. She's like, me, I like to feel the corner of that page and I like to turn it, and she's like, that just comforts me when I'm reading, So some people like their soft cover, hardcover. Me, I like the Kindle because what I used to do, and I realized when I stepped back from social media, I said, okay, I really had somewhat of an addiction because I could be standing in a grocery line, 2 people in front of me, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a minute. Let me scroll. What? Like, it's only 2 people ahead of me. It's not that serious. Right. So now doing the reading, if I feel like I have some downtime, like let's say I have an appointment, it ends early and I have a little in-between time, I'll read instead of scroll. And what I did was I put a time block on my calendar every day that I can do social media.
Time block. That is very important.
Yep.
I'm mentoring a young man that's in our office, and I told him, I said, you have to get a planner.
Yep.
And you have to learn the time block.
Time block.
Excuses yield nothing.
Not exactly.
Right? And that's all you're going to get out of it is excuses. And then you look up and you haven't accomplished anything. So someone said, you got to learn how to time block.
Got to.
That's paramount for your day. Will the day go according to plan? No. But at least you have a plan. Yes. To accomplish what you need to do. And if you don't time block, then how are you going to get through your day? Exactly. And keep those boundaries up. Yes. Like some people, they'll call me early in the morning. But if I'm reading my Bible, I don't answer the phone. No. If I'm in meditation time, I don't answer the phone. If I'm working out, I don't answer. Now, I will answer if I'm walking. Yes. But if I'm doing meditation, reading the word, or exercising, I don't answer the phone. No. So you have to put those boundaries in there with the time blocking. So important. Yes. Because you are feeding yourself so that you can be a better you for your clients. You do not want a burned out Shalonda. I'm telling you right now. You do not want a burned out Shalonda. You're no good to no one. No one at all. So I agree with that. I do the same thing. I get up early. I'm with the Lord. Spend time with Him. I will not get on. I have, like I said, my social media time block. I actually have it at the very end of the day. That means I got to work for it. I got to earn it. Right? I'm not getting on there. And yes, is my business on there? Absolutely. So I'll put content out there. But as far as leisure social media, I got to earn it. Right. I'm not touching that until the end of the day. No. Yeah. People always say, you're always on Facebook. I said, no. I said, I'll post and I'm done. Post and off. As far as content, I try to follow what the experts say. Yes. Post in the morning, afternoon, and the evening. Yes. So people assume that you're always on. Right. But you're not. No. You're working. Right. And speaking of content, I try to use current events or things that we might be going through as part of, me creating marketing, for social media. But social media, what it was meant for when it first came out was for college students. What Mark Zuckerberg intended for was for college students to have a way to communicate with each other. Yes. But it's blown up to this $1 billion thing, and it has afforded me to be able to stay in contact. Well, my nephew just moved back from India. Yeah. After 24 years of being gone. Wow. And then I have a brother that moved to Cambodia. Then I have a brother that's in Alaska. So social media to me is a way to stay connected with your family. Yeah. Because back in the day, we're showing our age again. Right. You have to, if you had a cell phone, you have to wait for for free weekends
Right.
or after 7
Right.
to be able to call long
Right.
distance and stuff. You know,
Yes.
so now with social media, you know, you're able to stay connected with your family that's
Yeah.
far away. You know,
Yeah.
so
But
that you know,
it's all in how
it's
you
a blessing.
use it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's all in how you use it,
Yes.
and I, but you know, the Bible says too much of anything is not good for you.
No.
So
No.
moderation.
Yes.
For social media for me.
Yes.
And when I tell you I sleep better, I feel better because now I have focused more on, you know, building myself up spiritually, and giving more time to God, which is, you know, a big belief of mine. I just feel so much better.
Yes. Yes. It's you don't. That hour before you lay down, you want your mind to be clear.
Yes.
You know, and you can't do it if
No.
you're scrolling.
No, it won't.
You know.
It won't happen.
You'll be up all night. Next thing you know, it's 1:00 in the morning.
Right. 2 hours went by.
Right.
What happened? So, what's the name of your business, and how long have you had it?
So I originally started. So let me tell you the story. Right?
Yes. Go ahead.
When I got into insurance, right? I was doing community stuff.
Yeah.
So I went to 2 agents. I said, "Hey, I want to put a form together. I'll bring the people. I want you guys to come talk about life insurance."
Sure.
Because so many people in our community, especially of the African American community, were passing away.
Yeah.
Right. And had no life insurance for burial.
Mm-hmm.
Families selling cars, selling dinners, you know, GoFundMe's.
Yeah.
You know, and I asked God, I'm like, what is my purpose? What do you want me to do? And clear as day as I'm hearing you, he said, I want you to help my people.
Yes.
You know, and I went to these 2 agents, and their schedule just didn't permit.
Yeah.
So I said, I'll get my license. You know, and as I started looking into it, I'm like, well, I don't want to just sell life insurance. I want to sell property and casualty and business too. You know, because people, let's be real, don't always buy life insurance.
Very true.
But everyone needs insurance for their home, renter's insurance, or auto insurance. You know, so that is how I got into insurance.
Okay.
Right. When I first took my test, you know, pat on my back, not bragging, but I passed it on the first try.
That's awesome.
Now, I will say this: there was a lot of nights of staying up
Yeah.
and reading that glossary to understand the word.
Yeah.
Drinking a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
And the week before I literally went and took the test, I fasted that whole week.
Okay. I love that.
But here comes the monkey wrench,
Right.
There was no availability in Toledo. I had to go up to Ann Arbor
Oh. To take the
take
test.
the test.
Okay.
And they don't give you the score. I just remember the light turning green.
Okay. That's all you remember.
That's all I remember. And I walked out in the door. I can remember it clear as day. It was a brown brick building, beautiful building. I walked out and I started shouting out on that side.
I know that's right.
I started shouting. But then I felt empowered, right? Because no longer was insurance companies interviewing me. I'm interviewing them. I have my license. I can pick and choose where I want to go now.
Sure.
So I originally started with Allstate.
Okay.
I left from there. I had taken some time away.
Okay.
And then I started a virtual agency with farmers. That wasn't going the way I thought it should be. And I was like, Lord, I need you to bless me with an agency that's already established.
Yes.
So then American Family called me.
Okay.
And I was with them for 3 years.
Gotcha.
And then I went independent this year.
That's so awesome.
You know,
Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
going independent.
yes, thank you.
That's a big accomplishment.
You know, I don't want to be popular. I want to be impactful.
I like that.
You know, it was never my goal to, you know, be the man or
Right.
you know, people coming to me because I'm the popular person. I want people to come to me because of integrity, honesty.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to guide and direct you in the proper coverage that you need.
Yes.
I'm not just going to sell you a policy.
No.
You know, I don't believe in that. I want to ensure that it's something that's affordable for you. You know, whether if it's a life policy, you don't have as much leeway per se with auto or home, because you're rated on you, what you're insuring,
Yes.
the zip code you live in.
Yes.
And I'm gonna pause right there. A lot of people say, it's redlining. It's not redlining because it's the only time insurance is allowed to be discriminatory due to the fact it's based on the totality of the zip code.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter if you're black, white, yellow, or green.
Okay. It's
about the claims within the zip code.
Gotcha.
If you have a ton of car break-ins, say in a certain zip code, then that zip code is going to be rated for that because the potential someone may break in your car.
Gotcha.
And that's all it is.
So
right?
It doesn't matter. So it could happen in a zip code of a suburban area.
So
there could be a history of it in a short period of time, and that could affect the totality.
Yes. So I did a quote for a lady, and she's purchasing a home in Rossford.
Okay.
The home had 2 wind claims. And she's like, why is the rate so high? I said, ma'am, this house had 2 wind claims. I said, it's not the house per se, but it's the zip code.
Yes.
That what's the likelihood of having 2 wind claims in the same zip code, so you're rated on that. You look at Point Place, what was it, back in 2023 when a tornado hit?
Yes. Yep.
So things like that is not just about theft, but it could be fires. If you have continual fires in certain neighborhoods, that affects it. The coverage. So I'll touch on coverage.
Yeah.
Coverage. Your rating is based on you, meaning have you had any claims?
Okay.
What you're insuring, the zip code, that all plays a part, and your overall credit.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So those are the driving factors.
Okay.
So you have an insurance score that goes from 0 to 55. 55 being the worst.
Got you.
You want your score lower.
Okay.
And so all those factors come into play. All insurance companies are not the same. All of them rate different because they all have different formulas. Some could say, hey, you'll get a better rating if your car is 2 years or newer.
Okay.
Some insurance companies don't care. They just want your business. But then what is the coverage like?
Yeah.
What is the claims process like?
Yeah.
So you have companies that graded or a credit score, right?
Right.
A plus is the best, right?
Yes.
Or even an A. Once you hit B, then an insurance company cannot insure certain industries, right? Like if you have an apartment complex, you have to have like an A rating in order to insure an apartment complex.
Okay.
If you fall below that, then you can't insure it. The solvency. How does the insurance company look as far as money? Are they strong? Are they able to pay claims?
Okay.
So those are things a lot of people don't see behind the scenes.
Yes.
That drive rates. No insurance agent or company can insure everyone because everyone is not going to like maybe how they're rated.
Gotcha.
I've had clients come to me that, may have had 4 or 5 accidents.
Oh, okay.
And they feel like, hey, I should only pay $100 or $50 a month, And I'm like, well, based off of claims or accidents or speeding tickets, this is what the rating is. And as an agent, you have to work diligently.
Yes.
To try and if we change the coverage?
Yes.
How would this look? If we increase the deductible, how would this look for the rating? So you have to be creative as an agent to help the person as best as you can.
Okay. So you're creating something that, kind of like real estate too. I mean, when we get clients that are pre-approved, we have to be creative when we're writing offers on the houses that they want.
Right.
And making that offer attractive enough to compete with the other 2 or 3 offers.
Right.
But it still has to meet the need of that client. It's easy to write an substantial amount, but if your client can't afford that, even though they've been approved for that,
right,
you don't want to go up that high. So now you got to think of other ways, other terms you can use on that contract to make it attractive.
Right. Right.
Got it. So So for your insurance company being independent, do you still offer insurance for other parts that you did when you were with these other companies?
So
Like,
now
name
that I'm
it.
independent, I'm able to offer a whole lot more.
Nice.
All for healthcare. Right?
Okay.
Dental, vision.
Wow.
I offer a home care plan, which it gives $150,000 in benefits
Okay.
for a person that, say, if someone has a stroke and they're confined to their home. This product will pay for a nurse, a physical therapist,
Wow.
a speech therapist, and there's a lot of other things in there to come into your home.
Yeah.
Also offers prescription reimbursement, right?
Oh.
So the plan or product pretty much in the end will probably darn near pay for itself,
Okay.
right? Because you get reimbursed at the end of the year depending on how many prescriptions you take.
Sure.
At the end of the year, we say, hey, we need a printout of your prescription history. Then we file a claim for them for them to get reimbursed. So if you have a person that's taking, say, 4 prescriptions,
Yes.
they can potentially get up to $900.
Wow.
Typically, the plan is probably only like $343 for the year.
Okay.
So really, you're getting paid for this plan, and you're getting benefits to help you. You know, if you have a heart attack, a stroke, or something like that, and you're confined to your home. So these people will come in and help take care of you while you're in your home.
Wow.
You know, we do group benefits.
Okay.
You know, for companies.
Okay.
Right. Healthcare, things like that, to no cost to the owner.
Wow.
Right. They can offer these products to their employees, which would enhance their employment.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You know. So we offer that. We offer commercial insurance. Or I should say, I offer commercial insurance. You know, I can insure your building, the liability portion, commercial vehicles. So I have a lot more products now.
Okay.
On the life side, we work with over 255 carriers. On the home and auto side and business, I work with over 25 plus carriers.
Nice.
So I'm able to
So you
try
can
to
shop
find
around,
yes,
and find a really great deal, that a nice package.
yes,
For really,
yes.
love
Now
that.
on the commercial insurance side, right? A lot of people don't understand that takes a little longer because it's a higher risk, right?
Sure.
So typically they say per underwriting 7 to 30 days
Okay.
out. If you know your renewal is coming up, get your information to us so we can work on it sooner.
Okay.
You know, so because it takes
It
some
takes
time.
more time.
Yes.